Welcome to 40 Below Zero, an international podcast about life with invisible illnesses, hosted by two guys living with multiple sclerosis. Coming to you from the Keystone State of Pennsylvania, I'm your co-host Nix, and with me on this ride is Terry, a Londoner who calls Ontario home. We're so happy you're here with us as we continue to try and normalize a life that is anything but. So let's get into it. What's going on, Warriors? Welcome back to the show. So glad to have you here. Like every week, we are very fortunate that we have you in our lives. Terry, what's going on, my brother?
What's up with you, man?
It's still winter. It's still cold. Everything hurts. My cramps are out of control, but that's part of the game, right? How about you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. This is the same topic every time. How you doing? I'm
Yep.
okay. How are you doing?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm in a good mood today.
Good. And, we say okay, but it's okay for as good as it gets.
It's mentally. How are you doing mentally?
Mentally, I'm very happy that the days are getting a little longer. The sun didn't go down till after 5 o'clock yesterday, and it's not supposed to, go down before 5 o'clock, I think, until September, October. So that's good. That makes me happy because I feel more productive. I feel like whether I am more productive or not, I feel like I can do more when the sun's out, you know?
Yeah. Do you not? I kind of like it now that it's not sunny all the way till 9 p.m. because I don't feel guilty in not going out. When the
That's the
sun's
other,
out at
yeah.
8 p.m., I'm always like, oh, I'm missing so much. I need to go out and do something. You know, it's the
And in
whole
the wintertime, you feel
FOMO.
like everybody just goes to sleep after dinner.
Yeah.
What's
Like,
what time do you eat dinner?
okay, yo, for real,
For real?
before I was healthy,
Uh-huh.
I used to have to eat right before I sleep.
Oh,
I
okay.
used to have to eat at like 10, 11, and if I stay up late, because
Wow,
I would
that is
eat
late.
and then it would put me to sleep. I'd be like, oh, I'm tired. I don't know. It was a thing I do.
Wow.
Now I eat like a senior, which is great. I eat like
Like
at
4 o'clock.
4:30. 5 is pretty late though.
5:30 is when I eat. Did I tell you about that? Did we talk about Pennsylvania dinner time? That's a thing.
You're asking me, man.
Yeah,
Katrina,
that's true.
sometimes she's like, dude, can we eat at 6 p.m. tonight? I'm like, sure. She's like, I'm the one that's like, nah, I'm hungry now. Yeah.
10, that's late, dude.
Yeah. No, I used to be bad.
Wow.
Dude, I'm not saying this because that's not me anymore, but I used to be bad. Dude, I used to order McDonald's like 11 p.m. I'd be like, Uber Eats, skip the dishes. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't blame you there. One of my least favorite chores is the dishes.
Are you the type of person that buy paper plates? So
So
that
we have them. So that some days it's just like I don't feel like doing it. I think
just
everybody gets that way.
it was 5 years ago that I was on that routine. Okay. Just so you
Gotcha.
know, that's why I'm not having a heart attack anymore. The way I was going, I was really bad. So let me tell you
Oh my
about
God.
this advocate meeting I had today,
Oh
activist
yeah, that's right.
meeting I
That's right.
had
You were
today.
telling me that it was coming up.
Yeah. Great, man. I'm so happy that I'm included in this. And they have their shit together. They know what they're doing. So, okay. So things are a mess right now because Justin Trudeau left. So we weren't
Wait, wait,
sure.
wait, wait. What do you mean he left? He just said I'm done.
He resigned. Yes. He
Oh
stepped
wow,
down.
you can
He
do that?
stepped down. Dude, I don't speak the language of politics.
Oh, okay.
I understand. I hate that I keep doing this. I start noticing that I do that anyway. So the whole language of politics, I understand it very basic, but to speak it in detailed terms, I'm just going to sound like
Yeah.
an idiot. But there's the Canadian disability benefit
Okay.
that's approved and supposed to be coming out, but because Justin Trudeau has stepped down, the Parliament has been prorogued. These are terms I'm learning. You probably know what that means. I did not.
No, actually, I've never heard that word before.
Prorogued. It just means delayed. The Parliament,
Oh,
everything
okay.
is
Just like
delayed.
everything's paused.
Yes.
I got you. Okay.
Yes. Procrastinated,
It's probably where it
prolonged.
comes from.
And yeah, till March. But now with the elections, I'm not exactly sure what's happening. But
So it's a funding issue.
Yeah, basically.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense.
It's not even that much. You know what I mean? I mean, it's something. I believe it's like $200, up to $200, which is not enough, and that's supposed to be for financial assistance. Um, it's a federal income support thing that's happening.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a whole lot of money.
It's supposed to help reduce poverty. Yeah, not really. So, and that's not what we're focusing on. I mean, we want that to continue on that route.
Sure.
What we have three topics that we are focusing on. Number one is, and I can get in detail about this, but I'm not. But one is to help doctors get better training to treat MS by providing special funding for their education, which just means we need more neurologists, more doctors out there.
That makes sense.
Because and just so you know, this is for Ontario.
Okay.
So it could be different in BC, it could be different, but overall, we're all in the same game.
Right.
So that's number one. We need more doctors, basically. Number two, we need to make sure people with disabilities keep getting the same support from provincial programs, even if they also get a new federal benefit. So if people are going to get this Canadian disability benefit,
Right.
some people might be worried because in Ontario, there's this thing called ODSP, where it's basically assistance from the government. And if you make income, they reduce the ODSP. ODSP
Yeah, that makes
stands for
sense.
Ontario Disability Support Program. So if you get some income out here, the ODSP reduces. So we want to make sure that if you're getting support from a federal program, it should not affect your
Hmm.
provincial.
Wait, so they count that as income? So if you're getting like a federal assistance, they count the Providence counts that as income.
We want to make sure that it's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's and it's very similar. It's very similar down here because if we have what Medicare and Medicaid, and in my so one's a federal program, one's a state program, and my in my case, my Medicare pays me or my disability pays me too much to qualify for the state level assistance, which is weird because I don't think I'm making that much money on disability, but apparently the state does. So I hear what you're saying. It's the same fight, just with different words.
if you're on ODSP, you get a certain amount of money. Everyone, I
Hmm.
guess, is different. But if you complain and you say, hey, how am I supposed to buy clothes off this money? How am I
Right.
supposed to eat? They will say to you, where do you shop for your clothes?
Right.
Where do you go grocery shopping? Do you actually go to a expensive grocery store or do you go to a food bank? If you're really desperate, you should be going to a secondhand store. You should be, you know what I'm saying? So
I do because and that brings up a really good point is that and that touches on a prejudice that a lot of people have without knowing it because when you see someone on disability and they have a nice object, doesn't matter what it is, a ring, a watch, a car, a phone, headphones, it doesn't matter. People have a tendency to look at people and think two things. One, that person is gaming the system and doesn't deserve the disability payments that they're getting. And two, that person doesn't have their priorities in order because why do you have an iPhone 15, for example, when you're on disability and you need cash assistance or something? I was on the receiving end of that prejudice. That's why I know it's real. I was on the receiving end of that because after I received my federal disability, I had a bit of a midlife crisis and was in a really dark spot because of my disability where it was at the time. I was not able to safely ride my motorcycle. So Kit very graciously said we should go to the Harley Davidson dealership and look at tricycles, the Harley Davidson trike. So we did, and I ended up getting one, and it was very nice. And was it more than I could afford a month? Probably. I mean, I don't have the bike anymore because
I was going to say, we talked about this before?
yeah, we did. But I don't have it anymore because of the way the disability progressed. I can't, squeeze repeatedly, and my foot can't work the brake pedal. So it was a matter of stop riding or risk becoming a statistic. like a casualty. But I often was looked at and was told several times directly that, well, I can't be that hard up if I'm riding this, very expensive looking motorcycle. And that's true. I mean, should I have been spending the money on other things? Probably. But for my mental well-being, it was definitely worth it. I mean, everybody buys stuff that makes them feel better in the moment. I mean, that's the consumerism mentality is it, oh, if I only buy this thing, it'll make me feel good. I mean, how many people talk about shop therapy? When they feel bad, they just go buy stuff and they feel better. So,
Dude, I'm there. I was there.
you know what I mean?
First of all,
How many drones do you own, right?
dude, I was just about to say during COVID, I had at one time I had 6 drones.
Right, because they made you feel better.
I sold them. I have one now,
Do you
but
have the one where you put the thing like the
no, I
goggles
never
on?
got the
You don't got
VR or whatever. No,
the
I'm not
race
that good.
now.
No,
So there you go. Someone could look at you flying that drone in the park and be like, how does he have money to afford a drone? You know what I mean?
dude, I had a guy who we don't really talk anymore because he said something that was awkward, and I was like, okay, buddy. But I was flying my drone, and he came behind me to see what I was doing, and he goes, "Man, I wish I had your money."
Exactly.
And I was like, uh, what's going on here? So I
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
rude.
brought down the drone, and I was with somebody else, and he was just like, "Do you wish you had his MS?" And I was just like, "Thanks, buddy." But I was like,
Yeah.
don't start problems now. I brought my drone down and went inside. I was like,
Yeah, that's the point. That's like those t-shirts and stickers you see that say you can have my parking spot if you take my MS.
I've never seen that before. That's
Oh
funny.
yeah, dude. But
Yeah, did,
that's how people are. Some people just judge and they say, must be nice to be on disability. You get all this money. First of all, you don't. It's not nearly what you think it is. So, and maybe that person just knows how to budget. Maybe that person is in a mountain of debt that they don't care about. You know what I mean? Like you don't know.
you don't know
So,
anybody's situation, man.
right. So anyway, we that was a deep dive.
Did you
That
know
was
that I owned a bike once? Did I ever tell you that?
you did.
Okay, okay. That was
You did. We
way back when I was
yeah.
21, 22. Yeah, it was fun. I'm glad I got to do that. I always wanted to get the trikes. Trikes?
They're
Can I say
worth it. They're a
trikes?
lot of fun. Yeah.
It's
They're a ton of fun.
a lot of money.
That Can-Am is that Can-Am makes a product you don't even need your feet. There's a influencer that I follow uh on
Terry,
Instagram.
me?
Terry is she is she's a paraplegic and she's a model and she rides a trike with her wheelchair on the back. She got a custom something where
You show me that.
I did and I think that's pretty cool. But anyway,
Let's go.
that was a really deep dive onto that. You touched the nerve, Terry.
Dude, I have something I want to, I wrote something, a path of self-discovery. Nah, just joking. It's your turn.
No, that was only 2 points, was it?
What are you talking about?
On your
Oh,
list.
oh man, you cut me off. I thought we were going
I
on
didn't
the
cut you
next.
off. We're having a conversation, Terry. I want
Okay.
to contribute to what you're bringing to the table today.
Okay. I might have messed up the second point. I just want to reiterate that it's to make sure people with disabilities keep getting the same support from conventional programs, even if they also get a new federal benefit. Because
Oh, right.
I
Yeah.
kind of cut into that and I was
Yeah.
saying a few things that were kind of
Yeah. And
wrong.
that's how I talked about my federal. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
The third one is provide better mental health support for young people living in long term care homes based on new national standards.
Okay.
What I was taken from that is because these um, old age living homes,
Hmm.
retirement centers, they were the places that if you couldn't take care of yourself, someone with multiple sclerosis would be moved into one of those. And those standards are different to what you would need as someone who lives with multiple sclerosis.
I got you. That
So
makes sense.
we want to basically fund the proper standards.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
for when I was working law enforcement, one of the places we were state was assigned to was a long-term care facility because it was owned by the county, and I worked for the county. And I remember there was a gentleman who was living there, and he was probably in his mid 50s, I would say. So now this is a long-term managed care facility. It's skilled nursing, all that stuff. And he was probably the youngest individual, the youngest resident by 20 years easily,
Not
if not
surprised.
if not more. So I understand what you're saying because he used to bring his power chair out and out into the parking lot and stuff because it's a big campus. I'm not, it's a lot of room. And he would ride up to where we were and just hang out because he was like, I don't know what else to do with myself. Everyone, he said, I'm in my 50s, and he's like, these people are in their 70s and 80s. He's like, I'm the only one. So I think that's great because I can only imagine the mental state you would get into if you were, say, like me, diagnosed in the early 30s, or any of us diagnosed in the early 30s, and just having to be in one of those facilities where there's people that's, not even in your age group. So yeah, I can imagine they would need mental health services.
Including me. I've been in that headspace where if I have to move into one of those, I just want to go.
Sure.
I don't want to, so imagine all the mental depression that happens.
Mm-hmm. That's
So yeah,
great.
that's a big factor for sure. There's a lot more, but
Right.
those are the
Mm-hmm.
three main things we want to focus on. We think those are the most important. So
They are. Those are very important.
mhm.
And I wish you well on keeping up the good fight, Terry.
I'll keep you updated.
Those are all good topics. I love See, this is the time where it gets very exciting because the meetings are starting again. Like they're hitting you with the bullet points. They're firing people up to get out there and hit the ground running to get this advocacy going. So it's exciting because I had three calls for the different, functions, the different things I'm involved in, and it's exciting, because you're hearing like, okay, this is what we're doing this year. So hopefully I get apparently the invites to DC are out. I don't know. I got to keep checking my email. We'll see if they want me back.
Cool, man. Yeah, keep us up to date.
I will.
I really want to bring Karen on again because she's really doing big things with.
Okay. Yeah.
She's part of the activist group, but she's involved in so much more. So
All right. I want to switch gears, Terry. I got something interesting here. So, like I had mentioned, I think in our first episode this year, the other organization that I'm involved in, the other part of my life, Paris Study. One of the things we do is we have a lecture series. Members can get up and give a lecture on one of several topics. Um, and we started off this year. I started off by I took the month of January. So members that are interested take either however many weeks they want, but just to get people comfortable with it, I started off the first 3 weeks. It was supposed to be 4, but as you know, I was in the hospital the first week, so missed that one. And they cover a variety of topics. A lot of them, I think, crossover and apply to the disability space. I mean, it's for everybody. So um, this one, for example, like you had mentioned earlier in this episode, um, the path of self discovery, exploring your true identity is what I wrote. So I'll put it out there. You and I can talk about it. If you want to jump in, just jump right in. I don't think I have to. All right, so
so just so everyone knows, he was talking to me about this before, and then as a joke, I said, "Hey, you want to know something that I wrote? It's called Path of Self Discovery." I was egging him on.
so and I appreciate that. Keeps me honest. So this is part of that lecture series. This is the one I did last week. Okay. So this is again the path of self-discovery, exploring your true identity. I want to talk about one of the most profound and transformative journeys any individual can undertake, the path of self-discovery. This journey is not marked by roadmaps, but rather by questions, reflections, and a deep desire to understand the essence of who we truly are. Before we dive in, let us consider a question. Who are you? Who are you truly? Not your name, not your job title, not your roles in life, and not what you do for others. For many, this question can feel overwhelming, even unsettling. And yet, it is the most fundamental inquiry we can make because it shapes how we live and how we navigate this world and how we love others. Self-discovery is not a single moment of realization, but a continual process, a journey without a final destination. It is about peeling back the layers of expectations, fears, and conditioning to reveal the authentic self beneath. Today, we will explore why this journey matters, how we embark on it, and the transformative power that it holds. Still with me?
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Why self-discovery matters. Well, first of all, we align ourselves with authenticity. Living in authenticity, trying to meet social expectations or conform to others' definitions of success can lead to dissatisfaction and disconnection. True fulfillment arises when our external lives align with our internal truths. Secondly, it builds resilience. When we understand our core values and strengths, we become more resilient in the face of the challenges that are presented to us. Life's storms may bend us, but they will not break us when we are rooted in self-awareness. And that's big because you have to know yourself if you're going to navigate things like this. Thirdly, it fosters a deeper connection. When we know and accept ourselves, we create space for authentic relationships. Because on the surface level, if we don't reveal who we are to others, we'll never truly know who they are. Because by embracing who we are, we will encourage others to do the same, fostering trust and intimacy. A lot of times, people are afraid to make the first move. So if you know who you are in a situation and you say it first, then you'll be surprised at the response you'll get because they will know that it's okay to be honest. So how do we do this? What are the steps to self-discovery? Embarking on this journey requires intention, courage, and patience. So let's talk about these steps. First of all, start with self-reflection. Again, you have to know yourself. Dedicate time to ask yourself meaningful questions like, what brings me joy? Not what makes me happy when other people are happy, but what brings me joy that I do for myself? What do I fear? And that's tough because that means you have to face it. But you have to ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What values matter most to me? Journaling, meditating, or simply sitting in a quiet contemplation can provide clarity with this self-reflection. Second, seek new experiences. Growth often comes from stepping out of your comfort zone, because if you're always in your safe home base, if you will, you'll never know what you could do. I mean, yeah, the world is big and scary, but you have to get out into it and do different things, like travel, learning a new skill, volunteering somewhere, going somewhere you've never been before, can all reveal hidden aspects of your true identity. Third, and this is a big one, we're going to embrace our vulnerability. You have to be comfortable being vulnerable. Accept that self-discovery involves confronting uncomfortable truths about yourself. And that goes back to the fear that I talked about. What am I afraid of? You have to be willing to face those fears, acknowledge your mistakes, and most importantly, forgive yourself for those mistakes. A lot of times we get hung up on the mistakes because we've fallen short of ourselves or other people. So we get so afraid that we're going to do that mistake again that it locks us into not doing anything. But you have to own those mistakes and you have to forgive yourself, because honestly, there's no user manual for any of this. We're all just trying to figure it out and listen from other people that have gone through it. So you got to be able to forgive yourself. Fourth, we're going to learn from others. One of the best pieces of advice that I've ever received and that I can ever give is to surround yourself with people who inspire you and who challenge you. That can be reading books from your favorite authors, talking to mentors, and having honest conversations that can serve as mirrors, reflecting new perspectives on who you are. You want to know yourself. Honestly, you want to know yourself? If you can, ask people that really don't like you. They'll tell you honestly.
Do that, man.
And fifth, you can revisit your past. Understanding your history, the experiences, the influences, and the relationships that got you to here is crucial. Because, the saying is, these are the things that made me who I am today. It's true. You have to look backwards to understand why. Because you can identify patterns that served you and get rid of those that didn't. If you say, I always react this way to this scenario, you have to understand why. And if it doesn't serve you, you got to let it go and try it a different way. So what are the challenges that we're going to find along the way? Every journey has its obstacles, and self-discovery is no different. First one, and this is a big one, fear of change. Changing situations sometimes creates so much fear that we don't make a decision, and we're like the ostrich who puts his head in the sand. Because discovering your true self may require letting go of identities or roles that no longer serve you. The way that I put it is very simply this: your new life costs you your old life. So embrace change as a necessary part of your growth. Another obstacle you're going to run into is external pressures from society, your family, and your friends. Some of them may resist your evolution. They might not be comfortable with you trying to grow and change as a person. So stay grounded in your values and trust your inner compass. You already know what's right and wrong for you. And then I think the biggest one is this. I know I say they're all big, but I think this is the biggest one. Imposter syndrome. And it's something that I have dealt with many times in my career and in my personal life. Imposter syndrome. As you grow, you may question yourself as to whether you are worthy of the new identity that you're building. A lot of times this comes in the form of, I'm not worthy to be in the role that I'm in. I don't deserve it. There's other people that are better than me. there's already too many people that are doing it. I don't know enough. I haven't taken enough classes. I don't have enough certifications. There's so many reasons why you can feel like you're an imposter in the role that you're in. But there's a reason why you're in that role, whether you were chosen for it or you put yourself in it. So remember why you're there. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. If Terry and I worried about the other 11 million podcasts that are out there, we wouldn't be doing this. So, and that's in whether we're doing our advocacy work, whether in our personal lives, there's a reason why you're in those roles. So you have to realize, you have to look at it from the point of, how did I get here? And I am worthy of being where I am. So imposter syndrome is huge. Self-discovery is not about perfection, but it's about being authentic and owning all of it. Perfection is not a requirement for me, but a lot of people think that if I'm not perfect, if I screw up, then I don't belong where I am. So what are the rewards of self-discovery? What do you get out of this? Well, you get clarity and purpose. Knowing yourself allows you to set meaningful goals that you can obtain and live with intention. So you're not wandering and you don't feel lost anymore. When you take time to get to know yourself, you'll understand the direction you want to go and how you can get there. The second thing is you find a sense of inner peace. When you embrace your true self, whatever that looks like, the need for external validation, it vanishes. It's not that you don't care about other people's opinions, but you don't have to care at that point. You're not going to spend time worrying about it because you'll be at peace with yourself and who you are. And then you'll feel empowered. And when you feel empowered, you will finally begin to unlock your potential, and that will enable you to contribute to the world in only a way that you can. It doesn't matter that there's over 11, 12 million podcasts. Nick and Terry are contributing as we can, only we can. And that's true for everybody. So, in conclusion, the journey of self-discovery is not about becoming someone new, but unbecoming everything that isn't you. It's about peeling away the layers of expectation, fears, and doubts to reveal the beautiful, unique essence of you. As you're on this path, remember that self-discovery is not a race or a competition. The only one on this road is you. You set your own pace. You take your time. It is a deeply personal and lifelong process. So be patient with yourself. Celebrate your growth. Honor the courage that it takes to explore your true identity. I leave you with this challenge. Take the time to truly know yourself. Listen to the internal whispers. Dare to ask questions that matter, because when you do, you will not only transform your own life, but help others to do the same. Thank you. So there you go, Terry. That was my lecture that I gave the other day.
Bro, is my therapist telling you to say this? Dude, I wrote some key words, and it's so funny because when I wrote these words, you ended up repeating them. Number one, authentic.
Yeah, man, that's a big one.
I wrote in brackets, vulnerable, besides authentic, before you even mentioned vulnerability. I'm like, yeah, you got to be vulnerable to be authentic, because it takes a lot of vulnerability to be, dude, everything you're saying, internal truths. I always say you can't win if you don't play. But what you said is you can't learn if you don't try.
Well, thanks for letting me read that, dude. I appreciate it.
Man, are you sure my therapist isn't sitting right there?
And I'm telling you that, so that right there, me reading that, that is part of my vulnerability, because doing what we're doing here, talking, interviewing guests, all that comes naturally to me. But being able to get up in front of the group of people that I do that with, um, about 10, 15 people, we're trying to grow, but it's getting there. Um, so when I was talking to Kit before I, came down here to do the show, I was like, you know what? I'm going to read these. These ones that I write, I think they apply because, and this one specifically, because how many times did we talk about the diagnosis rips your identity? You
Yeah.
can ask every MSer, and it doesn't even matter, whatever the diagnosis is, it just totally screws with who you are, and you have to find yourself again. So that's why I wrote that one.
We always talk about grieving what we've
Hmm.
lost, right? By the
Yep.
way, 15 people locally are meeting up,
Yeah,
or is
they
this
we meet. Yeah, they in
that's a lot
person.
of people if it's in
Yeah.
person.
Yep. And,
It's
and
pretty cool.
hopefully soon this year we're gonna have a Zoom option, so we can send out a link to everybody to see it live.
Nice.
So yeah, it's
Nice.
it's pretty cool. So once I'm done, I have one more this week. So I'll and then another member takes over, and he's going to talk about totally different things, and it's just a cool way for people to get up and write some lectures and some essays, if you will, and so that's what I'm contributing today to the show.
I'm the biggest believer of being vulnerable. In other words, being authentic. I never
Hmm.
thought of it like that.
They go hand in hand, because that's when you when you take back the mask, when you put the mask down, because listen, how we start every show, like, how are you? Oh, I'm okay. How are you? I'm okay. That's the mask. That's the mask. Because what we should be saying is, how are you? I'm doing the best I can with what I got.
Yeah, but we don't want to be negative and
Right, right.
I'm living. I'm hanging
Yep.
in there.
Still here.
I told you that story of I used to go every day. I used to go outside. Say I'd go to my coffee shop in my wheelchair, and as I'm leaving the front doors, there was always this lady standing
Hmm.
outside,
Yep.
and she had a cane, but she was able to walk. She was just using it for support. Again, what do I know? But she would be outside, and every time I'd pass by her, she'd be like, "Oh, Teddy, how are you?" It's my
Hmm.
accents, yeah. And I'd always say, "I'm great." You know what I mean? Because no one wants to say, "I'm having a rough day." So I'm like, "I'm great. How are you?" And she would always be like, "I'm not doing so well." Every time. And then I think it was like the 100th time when I was going outside, and she's like, "Hey Teddy, how are you?" And I was just like, "I'm great." And I just left. I didn't even ask how she was. Guess what, man? 2 weeks later, she died.
Yeah, I
She was
remember that
going
story.
through yeah, she was going through something, man. And here I
Hmm.
am like, "Don't you see I'm in a wheelchair?" Stop being so negative. But everybody has their own story.
Hmm.
She was probably authentic, and I was never being authentic.
It's okay. You have to, like I said, you got to forgive yourself for that. And you got to know that when the situation presents itself in the future, change how you respond if you want to have a different outcome.
I always remember those moments now, and I have changed.
All right, brother. I appreciate you. Nice to talk with you. You're breaking your gear.
Bro, so much love for you, man. Thank you.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
Thanks,
Talk to you soon.
everybody.
See you later. So check us out at 40belowzero.com. That's 4 letter T below zero.com. Or feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Our email address is info@40belowzero.com. Our personal Instagram account are, for Nix, it's Nix_V713. Or for Terry, it's What's_MS. Awesome. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. We'll talk soon.